Enjoy the video and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, so to get this wheel onto the G920, we're going to need a few things first. As you can see, I've got the tools and the hardware I need. You'll also need this adapter. It's available on AliExpress and a few other places. I'll leave some links to it. It basically, this side bolts to the G920, which I'll show you soon, and then this side is what bolts up to the next step. I decided to buy one of these low profile quick releases. It's an 18-inch wheel, and I really don't want it swinging around when it's calibrating every time I start it up, so I can just have the wheel off while it's calibrating and then just click it on. So you need that, and then you need this spacer. What this thing is because the wheel that's coming has 3 holes in it, right? So there's 3 holes there, and then the rest of these holes here is what you mount up. So I mean, if you don't want to use the quick release, you can easily just take this on these inside holes, mount it up like that, and you're good to go, and then your wheel can go on there. But I'm doing the quick release, so I'm gonna walk you through all the steps. All right, so the first thing you're gonna want to do, I'm not gonna make a video on how to get the stock wheel off and how to get it off of the wheel chock and everything, and don't mind my wheel chock. This is a G920, but it's been heavily modified, but you will still have 6 mount holes on yours. So the first thing we need to do is take our adapter that changes it from the G920 to a 70 millimeter hole spacing. So all you got to do is just line it up. Now you can either line it up on your chock like this, or if you did decide to leave your wheel buttons on, it'll just go on top of the buttons in the same spaces. So go ahead and get that on. Alright, so once you got the spacer on, you can go ahead and grab the bottom part of your quick release. Make sure to line this up, that it goes to the left of the top center hole. Make sure you have that lined up that way, and go ahead and install this one. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put the wheel mounts, the actual 3 posts that go through this center hole here in order to mount the wheel up at the end. You have to do it now, because on the next step, when you attach this side to the other side of the quick release, the bolts, they won't fit through, because on the inside of the quick release here, if you can see, there's this little lip. And the way it's going to attach is like this. So you got to get past this little lip to get those screws in. So we're just going to put those 3 in first, and then we'll get to attaching this. I'm sure you'll have to find your own way of doing it, but this is how I'm going to mount up the wheel. I'll walk you through the process, but as you can see, this whole row here, that's everything that's basically on it in the order that it goes. So how I do this is I take my spacer and I take my bolt and put metal washer, plastic washer, then it goes through the hole, and then we've got a thin metal washer, and then I bolt that down with 2 nuts. Now that's pretty much as far as you'd need to go right there just to get it mounted, right? But once I have these bolts on, you'll see that the wheel space is off. So we're going to take this metal washer and these 2 thin rubber washers, and then this plastic washer and this metal washer. Now, what that's going to allow us to do is the steering wheel is going to be probably sandwiched between this rubber washer and this metal washer. It'll hold it right about there, and then a regular nut goes on. Sorry if it's a bad angle. There you go. Regular nut goes on, and that'll hold the steering wheel down, and then this will cap it off, and this is a lock washer, or sorry, a lock nut. So do that 2 more times, and then we'll get to the next step. All right, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this quick release, put it back in there, and mark your top and your bottom holes. I just used a plus and a minus. It made it easier, so I know that's my center top. So that being said, this is your bottom, so it's going to be like that. And that's pretty much how you're going to want to line it up. You'll see all the screw holes will, I don't know if you can see that through there, but they'll all line up everywhere around. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the inside holes to attach it with the long screws, like that. The only problem is with these, they're threaded. So what you got to do is, I just don't want to lose my place here. You got to thread them up. Until you see them just start to come through the end there, and then line that back up again. There's positive. Okay, so line it back up again, and you want to get that, because they're both machined, you want to make sure that you don't have a gap there. I usually end up with one. I don't even know why. Come on. Like that. That's good. So go around and do that to all the rest of those. Also, what I like to do is I like to get everything just seated up first. I don't torque them down to begin with, just to make sure that all the screws go in properly and centered. And then once that happens, then I torque them all down. Okay, now because of the way the wheel's gonna sit, I don't want it just resting on these screws. I don't want it to warp or anything, so I got these smaller screws. They don't go all the way through. They only go through the top one. And I'm just gonna put those in the remaining holes, so when the wheel's on here, it should sit, you know, perfectly flush on top of those screws and on top of these 3 little rubber things. And once again, if you were installing this wheel without the quick release, this would be the screws that went into that adapter, the G920 adapter, that metal one. Alright, so that's it for that step, guys. As you can see, it's all together. Quick release is on there. We got our mounts in. So next step is getting the steering wheel mounted up to it and then putting it on the rig. Alright, so I put this back on here for a reason. When I originally started making this video, I hadn't got the wheel yet. So I figured this was the right spacing because I couldn't find any measurements online or anything. But I've gotten my wheel. Big old 18-inch truck wheel, and what do you know? They don't line up. So I think for now I'm just gonna go like that and find a way to secure it in place. I don't know, and then I'm gonna have to keep looking for another adapter. If anybody knows of an adapter that will actually fit the space of these 3 holes, link it down in the comments, please. I'd love to buy one. But for now, I'm gonna figure out how to mock this up somehow. Alright, so I figured something out for now. I put some washers on and got them, caught underneath the horn shield, and then I just bolted the horn shield down into them and through the steering wheel, and I'm just gonna throw some hot glue on there for now. I am probably gonna take the spacer that's underneath it, line up the holes on the wheel, and drill them out and mount it properly. But for now, I'm just gonna glue it up. So for later, I'm not gonna make another video when that's done. It'll probably be part of a Simulator Saturday video, but you can still buy one of those spacers. As long as you map out the holes and drill them out, everything will fit and line up good, and this would have actually worked the way it was supposed to. So that's it, guys. And then you put the horn cover on when you're done, and you put an 18-inch steering wheel on a G920 G29.